Hello and welcome to the TrueCommerce webinar on Managed EDI Service and how you as an organization who has selected the Microsoft Dynamics NAV platform as your ERP system of choice can benefit from our end-to-end solution consisting of a strong standardized NAV EDI module, an expansive network of trading partners, and a fully managed service and support offering tying it all together. Today we have both UK-based and Scandinavian-based participants on the call, so welcome to all of you. The presenters today will be myself, Peter Hansen, out of Copenhagen. My colleague Steve Norris will be joining us from the US. You'll hear that from his accent. And Simon Roos, who's actually not up here on the slide, but Simon Roos represents Blue Star, who is a customer of ours. And Simon will join us later on in the webinar to give a customer's point of view on the solution. So again, thank you. We have muted you in order to secure a good audio quality. So if you have questions along the way, I'll encourage you to use the chat functionality, and we'll then address the questions if there are any towards the end of the session. Let's have a look at the brief agenda here. Before we dive into the actual NAV component, I would like to briefly introduce TrueCommerce as an organization and to give you an overview of the end-to-end solution that we offer. After that, Steve will take over, introduce you to the solution with a hands-on demonstration. And lastly, we will round off with Simon Roos and the customer perspective. TrueCommerce is a part of the HighJump organization, which is a leading global provider of supply chain network solutions. This encompasses warehouse management solutions, solutions for transport and logistics, direct store delivery solutions. TrueCommerce, the TrueCommerce part of HighJump, delivers next-generation business network services, or EDI if you prefer, in both North America and Europe, and we serve a combined customer base in excess of 10,000 customers in 31 countries. The majority are based in the US and Canada, in the UK and Denmark, and some other Scandinavian countries as well, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. What we do is we support the digital exchange of business messages between customers, our customers, or clients, as we sometimes call them, and more than 12,000 direct trading partners. There are many more trading partners available because we also have, as an integral part of our service, the connectivity via other business networks, interoperability, if you will. And we also serve public sector standards, which means that we reach a lot of public sector clients out there. At the core of all of our solutions is a cloud-based managed service, which enables our customers to focus on their business rather than the complexities of serving their trading partners with different formats, different connectivity methods. We'll get back to the managed service aspect of the solutions, but the core value proposition of what we'll discuss and show you today is that we will support your trading relationships with both customers and suppliers alike, and we'll deliver assured message delivery for business-critical documents. In order to do so, in order to deliver a true end-to-end service, we need a strong suite of ERP integrations or enablers, as you can call them. And we are committed to developing, maintaining, and supporting a broad range of ERP integration components, and this includes a strong suite of Microsoft Dynamics integrations. One of these is the standard integration component for Microsoft Dynamics NAV, and today we will introduce you to how you can leverage the Dynamics integration module to interact with our managed EDI services. I'd like to spend a few minutes introducing the overall picture of what a fully managed EDI service means to you as a customer. If we have a look at a high-level solution drawing, and we start at the right-hand side, we have represented your trading partners. In this case, one. That's of course a broad term, a trading partner, but it will typically be either a customer or supplier of yours. For some of you, just integrating to one single customer will be enough to make an EDI solution worthwhile. That is, if it ensures that a specific customer-issued mandate for you to receive orders and send invoices in a specific format is being met. For some of you, integrating to hundreds of suppliers may be the scope of your project. Regardless, trading partners on the right-hand side of this drawing. Any trading partner, customer, supplier, transporter, will deliver and consume business documents in a set format. So if you move left on the drawing, you see that the TrueCommerce managed service platform sits inside of the blue rectangle. This is the part of the solution, the component that is responsible for converting between trading partner specific formats and an internal format, which we employ in order to store information which is enclosed in the documents so that we can retrieve them, can report on them, and we can support the content of the messages flowing between you and your partners. On the left-hand side, which should show up, but does now, sorry. On the left-hand side, that's where we meet you, the client. In this case, the ERP system is NAV, but it could have been Dynamics AX, Sage, SAP, or another backend system. The same principles apply. By using the NAV integration module, we ensure that we can always deliver documents in a standardized format, and that we always receive the documents in a standardized format. And for you, that translates into using one NAV embedded component to deliver and consume one format, connecting you to one service provider, who takes care of the heavy lifting on the right-hand side of the picture. Lastly, and that's it's a bit premature in actually bringing up the red circle in the upper right-hand corner, but lastly, not all of your suppliers or your customers may be sophisticated EDI users themselves. To that end, we provide a browser-based interface for trading partners to collect orders and invoice you for your suppliers, or submit orders and receive invoices for your customers. This is not the main subject for today, but we are, of course, happy to discuss these options in further detail with you. So to sum it up, key benefits of employing standardized NAV integration module is that it will enable you to connect to and to utilize the extensive and constantly expanding business network that we employ. And some of these advantages are up here in bullet points. There are a couple of advantages I'd like to specifically mention. What we deliver is a certified for Microsoft Dynamics NAV module, which is fully embedded inside Dynamics NAV. It's developed in CAL, or the NAV proprietary language, and it takes advantage of standard NAV functionality. And you'll see this when Steve touches upon the solution and demos it. We support previous versions of NAV, going back to NAV 2009 and onwards. And lastly, since we are responsible for constantly keeping abreast of development efforts within the ERP community, in this case Dynamics, we will ensure that you always have a future-proof solutions. That is, we develop for new versions of NAV and new releases and updates for NAV. With this in mind, I'll hand over to Steve for a hands-on demonstration of the NAV integration module. And Steve, if you are ready.
Thank you, Peter.
No problem.
So as Peter had mentioned, our solution for Dynamics NAV is holistically embedded within NAV. So you're going to see our EDI module right alongside those areas that you're in every day. Areas where you would go to enter sales orders in NAV, places where you go to enter invoices, purchase orders, things like that. You know, the same ERP system that you're used to navigating in and day out, you're going to see EDI right alongside that. So as Peter had mentioned, our solution is certified for Microsoft Dynamics NAV, which means not only did we go through the rigorous testing process that Microsoft has for the product, but also that we have employees that are required to be certified as well So when you're working with us, you're working with somebody that not only is an expert in EDI, but also you're working with folks that have been certified for their knowledge in Dynamics NAV. The first area that I will show you here is that we'll go in and we're going to talk mainly around, as Peter had mentioned, customer side transactions, where you receive an order from your customer. You might need to send a dispatch advice or an invoice back out to that customer. That's the process we'll look at today. Note that we do have functionality, and we'd be happy to talk about at another time, being able to do EDI with your suppliers, whether you want to send them an order or receive back an invoice or a dispatch advice from them, along with being able to exchange documents with a third-party warehouse or a remote warehouse that you would be potentially working with. The first area that we'll take a look at is at the sales agreements. This is where we're going to be able to go in and we're going to tell our solution within NAV which NAV customers do I want to be able to do EDI with. Within that, if we look at an example that I have of Home Depot, we can go in and we can see specifically here is where I will go and set up the different accounts that are associated with this EDI trading partner. This could be one-to-many here, or it could be one-to-one, whether you have one customer for each EDI trading partner that's in Dynamics NAV, or if you have many that are associated with it that is supported through this interface, where we can go in and we can simply tell the system, here is the EDI location IDs, and here are the appropriate NAV accounts that match up to them. This is also where I would go to configure my business rules and supported documents. So for instance, if I wanted to go in and you can see right now I have this customer activated for EDI orders. If I wanted to be able to also activate that customer for inventory statistics, I could go in there and do that as well. You'll note that we can simply turn it off, we could turn it on as active, or we could turn it on in a test mode, and for that period of time which you might be testing or want to test something directly with one of your customers. We have that same functionality on the outbound side. So if I wanted to go from having just outbound invoices to being able to send an outbound shipment or dispatch advice, I could simply go and turn that on, whether I wanted to turn that on as test or as active. As part of being embedded in Dynamics NAV, we're inheriting all of the business rules and functionality that are part of Dynamics NAV. So you don't have to worry about duplicate entry if we're talking about locations, customers, things along those lines. We're inheriting all that information, just like customer item numbers and things like that. So you can maintain one point of truth in Dynamics NAV. You don't have to worry about maintaining data in two separate or multiple databases. Everything is holistically contained within Dynamics NAV. If I go over to my departments area, this is where I can go in and I can start taking a look at transactions that I'm doing, and also where I would be able to go in and take a look at specific transactions if I wanted to process them manually. But most commonly, our customers using this solution are setting up schedules that will allow them to be able to process orders maybe every 15 minutes or 30 minutes or a couple times a day. They'll set up outbound invoicing schedules so that they can send out invoices maybe at the end of the day or the first thing in the morning or every hour, and they can configure that for all the transactions. As part of being embedded, from a scheduling perspective, you don't need to learn anything because it's all part of Dynamics NAV. So it uses the Dynamics NAV scheduler in order to be able to handle some of the automated events. We're able to go in and take a look at our concept really of mailboxing and messaging. So if I wanted to go in and look at orders that I've imported, or I wanted to be able to go in and process transactions in manually, I could go to our inbound message list. These are orders that I've received and which status that they're in. You'll see these orders that I've been working with from my various trading partners have all been processed in the NAV. If there were errors, this is where I could go and see that particular information. If there were documents that were being queued, I could see that information here as well. A couple of the nice things that I have from this view is that I actually can go in and I can look at the contents of that EDI or business transaction message without having to understand the formatting. So if we're talking about Edifact, if we're talking about Tradecoms or X12, there are different EDI, what they call segments and elements. Or if we're talking about XML, understanding the nodes, you don't have to worry about that. So somebody from customer service can go in and take a good look at the information that's here in a formatted view, so they don't have to be an expert in EDI or XML or in the multiple formats that you may have trading partners or customers that require. We can go in, take a look at that. There's specific information that I want to take a look at. I don't have to have a decoder ring to be able to figure out which data is where and what pieces belong where. You'll also see from within here I can reprocess a document, whether that's an order, that's an invoice, that's a dispatch advice. On any of our screens, you can go in and simply reprocess a document. This means you don't have to go out to a third-party network to do this. You don't have to go to other third-party software to get everything done here. You actually can do that holistically within our NAV interface. We have the same functionality available to you on the outbound side. So if we wanted to go in and look and see which outbound transactions I've processed, you'll see I've processed dispatch advices, inventory catalogs. So if you're working with some of the .com retailers or other folks that have requirements around being able to provide inventory quantities and items on hand, back ordered, available, those type of things, that catalog functionality is going to allow you to do that. You can set that up to be set on a schedule as well. So when you start thinking about doing business with a lot of the .coms, a lot of times they want a very timely catalog message back to them so that they can know and they know when to, on the website, mark the product as back ordered or tell the customer that there might be a delay in shipping. But we can go in, we can see that information, we have all of that same functionality available to us. Now, one of the things a lot of people think when they see that our product is embedded is that there may be some problems with upgrading. Peter assured you that that wasn't the case, and I'm here to reaffirm that. So when we modified NAV and we went through our certification processes, we made sure that all or the bulk of our objects are net new objects. So you don't have to worry about when you go to the next version, you don't have to worry about tables that are standard NAV tables that have been customized. 99.5% of our deliverables are net new. The only thing that you'll see that we deliver is that is a modification to the core NAV is really just form-based logic. So if I go in and I take a look, for instance, at open sales orders in the system, you're going to see those transactions that came in and I integrated via EDI on the Actions tab have a few other buttons that I can use with them. So I can actually drill into a particular sales order and I can follow all the different actions that are available, whether I want to manually go in and send a sales order confirmation, maybe I want to send a representative order, things along those lines are pieces and parts that we've added to that. And we'll help you get that merged into your environment. At this point in time, I will go ahead and pass the presentation back over to Peter as he has a few more items he would like to cover.
Thanks, Steve. I hope that this gave you an overview of the some of the key features and functionality which is delivered by the NAV integration components. I'd like now to introduce you to some of the customers that we're serving today. Some of these are large international corporations. Some of them are small, medium businesses which operate primarily in their home markets. By the way, they are all familiar to UK and Scandinavian audiences, so this is not a US specific slide. Some of these are supplier facing, which means that they work extensively with typically goods for resale, and we enable these clients to reduce their manual processes and assure the delivery of goods from a lot of suppliers by supporting complex supply chain flows. Other clients are customer-facing on the right-hand side of the slides. We help these clients typically by complying fast and efficiently with supplier mandates. And in some cases, we provide basically all of the EDI expertise and support that is required by them, so they can focus on their business rather than the underlying issues with a business network. As importantly as the customer list that we have is the fact that these customers can do business with a lot of trading partners. So a key factor when you choose an EDI provider is the span of the trading partner network that is accessible via the provider. To give you a flavor of the trading partners we can easily connect you to, we have collected some of the more common ones on this slide. Again, it covers primarily the UK and Scandinavia. There are many more. There's a large trading partner network in North America, and some of the more prominent trading partners in the region, UK and Scandinavia, are not mentioned here because they already are supplier-facing clients of ours, so they would have been on the previous slide. But please feel free to contact us for discussion of the specific requirements that you may have, and we'll be happy to provide you with a proposal on how you can easily and efficiently connect to your key partners. And finally, to give you a sense of what our customers are saying, I would like to welcome Simon Roos from Blue Star. Let's see if Simon is there. Simon, you there?
Hello. I am indeed, Peter.
Hi, Simon. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome. We're running an EDI project with Blue Star, which spans a number of European countries. I believe the UK, Netherlands, and Spain are among them. That's what springs to mind, at least. Simon, could I ask you to briefly introduce Blue Star?
Yes, thank you for that. As you can see on the slide, we are a global distributor of solutions. We're a distributor of auto ID products. We're split in two. We have our US site, which is the #1 in our marketplace, and then we have our European entity, which I am part of. The two work independently of each other, although we do deal with each other in sharing best practice. And one of our issues around Europe was how do we grow? How do we grow and how do we become efficient within the business? And that's why we were looking at TrueCommerce.
Good to hear, Simon. Can I ask you a question? And this is the importance of EDI to Blue Star, the sector that you are in. How does it support your business? What is the scope of an EDI project for you guys?
Well, we're in a high volume, low margin business. So a lot of product come and go very quickly, and we are always looking at how we can be an efficient and cost-effectively run business. And one of my remits was to go out and look at that as a business and to see where we could be more efficient. And one of them is around order management. It for us is very key as a business. We do a lot of order management. We have a large order management team, and we were looking at how we could streamline and make that a more more efficient part of our business. And that's why we went and spoke to TrueCommerce about their EDI option.
Okay, thank you. From your point of view, Simon, because typically an EDI project can be seen as a very, very technical project. So how do you position such a project internally to get a interest from the business itself and buy-in from the business itself? What were your experiences when doing that?
It was actually quite simple. I went to the CFO and said we could save money, and then I went to our MD and said I could run the project, and they both went brilliant. What it really boiled down to was we could use TrueCommerce. You guys came in, you did the pitch, and you really held our hand through the whole process. We don't have any EDI technical resource within our business, so we really relied on you guys to help us and to lead us. And you did a great job. You know, everyone's really impressed with what we've done.
Glad to hear that, Simon. I think basically, I think that's really is very good and valuable information, Simon. So thank you very much for taking your time and joining us today. On that note, I would like to thank all of you for your attention, and I'd ask you to please contact us for further dialogue, for questions, or for clarification requirements that you may have. And let us see if we have received any questions during the session. I'm just having a look here. It doesn't seem to be the case, so I think we will we'll round it off. There is some contact information. As I said beforehand, please feel free to reach out and contact us. You can do so either by contacting one of our UK offices. There is contact information for that, or for the Danish office, and we do speak Danish as well, of course. And visit our website as well, TrueCommerce.com. So again, thank you to Steve, thank you to Simon, and thank you to all of you for attending. Bye-bye.